And I am back just like that. Okay. Good evening and welcome to tonight's podcast with your host, Dina. That would be me. So, you already know what time it is tonight. But if you don't know, I'm going to go ahead on and tell you, right? So, we have been doing a mini series for the past couple of weeks, and it's been entitled The Waiting Period. And how did I come up with the waiting period? It's something that God kind of highlighted for me because it's actually the period that I am in. So when I say the waiting period is from the time that you start the process and the preparation until time for you get the promise. And on here, the promise of the end of the journey is marriage, right? Your purpose partner. So this week, I am still on the friendship page, okay? Because that's what God gave me today. And so, if you have not watched the videos from the past couple of weeks, you have to go back and watch the videos, okay? Because it gives you a breakdown of the different levels and things that you need in friendships. And we talk about how friendships coincide with your purpose partner or your spouse, right? So I'm not gonna tell you what happened in the videos because what you got to go back and watch the video so you can see and put it all together. However, you will have time to do that tonight because I'm not gonna hold you long. Just gonna give you what God gave me today, and of course, tell you a little of my business and go on about my business. Okay, that's all I got for you, right? So, but I will tell you that friendship during the waiting season can be one of the most overlooked but yet powerful gift that God gives. Because your friends, they prepare you, refine you, and sometimes even mirror the love you're learning to give and to receive, right? And then we talked about how friendships allow you to practice loyalty, forgiveness, and emotional safety qualities, which are all essential for marriage, even when it's inconvenient. Okay. So I was doing my time of study today, trying to figure out or pray about what is it we were going to talk about. And the Lord still gave me friendships, right? And so as I was talking to one of my friends earlier, and we were just journeying back through the past couple of months of my life, and it made me reflect on the last couple of years on my life and the different friendships and the different seasons and the different levels of friendship. And you know how you don't realize things while you're in it, but as you start to remember and think about things, it leads you to a I should have knew that, but I didn't even realize it about people and friendships. And I feel like, the older we get, the more that we really do take friendships into accountability of actually realizing and thinking about friendships and not just, oh yeah, this is my friend. Yeah, I met her this day and the other. Yeah, we friends, all that good stuff. Yeah, the older you get, that really kind of dissolves. And we be more intentional about our friends. I don't know about you, but I am becoming that way because friends have changed in so many ways. And I guess I'm not gonna say I was naive to the fact. I guess I really didn't look at friendships like that. I meet somebody, we cool. I give everybody benefit of the doubt. And once you start showing me something different, then it is what it is at that point, right? However, so what I was thinking on today, I was like, how can we build deeper faith-filled friendships during our waiting period? Because your friend is very important during that period of the waiting period, right? Because they have your ear. You talk to them, they talk to you. Some of your friends may be married, some may be going through the waiting period with you as well. It's just different scenarios that you have to go through, right, with your friends. So as I was still, thinking or whatever, and it was like, how can I build deeper faith-filled friendships during the waiting period? Because it speaks directly to your heart. And it was saying to be very intentional. You're showing very intentional growth and sacred connection now that you're thinking about actual friendships, right? And it's a process. Building deeper Faith-filled friendships during your waiting season isn't just possible, it's transformative. These relationships become spiritual lifelines, shaping your character, anchoring your hope, and preparing you for covenant love. And I was sitting here thinking, because I've been thinking all day. And then I came up with it says that pray for divine alignment when choosing friends. Ask God to send friendships that reflect his heart. Be very specific and pray for friends who challenge you spiritually, celebrate your growth, and a walk with you in truth. That is very important. Did you hear when it says ask God to send friends? I never even thought about that. We ask God for a lot of stuff, both naturally and spiritually. But for friends, I never, and I'm just telling on myself, I never sat down and thought about, oh, I'm gonna ask or pray to the Lord send me this type of friend. It never even crossed my mind until it came to me today, right? So that's growth for me. So it's also about being very intentional about the people that you surround yourselves with. And like I said, the older we get, the more intentional we are about the people that we surround ourselves with, right? It's very important. Very important, right? And it says to lead with vulnerability, share your journey and your joys, your doubts, the lessons that you have learned in waiting. Vulnerability invites depth and builds trust. But when it says share your joy, share your journey, that's why I'm on here tonight. Because I've been sharing my journey with y'all of me in the waiting period, through the process, through the preparation, because for some odd reason, I think the waiting period comes to an end real soon, okay? I don't know how soon, but I am content when it happens. I kept hearing the scripture the weekend, be anxious for nothing. Nothing. And it seems like soon as you get to that point in your life where, I'm not even worried about it. If it happens, it happens. If it don't, no, I ain't gonna say if it don't. I'm gonna say when it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen on my time, I'm okay with it. Because that lets God know that, okay, she read it. I can trust her. Because she ain't gonna be anxious. She ain't trying to just move in her own self. She ain't trying to do what I'm not allowing her to do. She's letting me lead her. And so that's not just even for marriage, just for anything else that you may be wanting that God is taking you through a process to get to. That when you show him that you're not anxious and that you are prepared and ready, and God, I trust your timing. Like however you want to do this, when you want to do this, it's all right with me, right? And what it says, like share your journey, the joys, the doubts, the lessons in the waiting. You don't know who is going to help. And once again, that's why I'm on here, because you don't know. And the Lord had me, he already gave me some of my business to tell y'all. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you, right? And it says, share my story. So when it says share your journey with people, I have a client, and she invited me to her home last year for Christmas. And it was like after Christmas, it was a little party she was having at her house or whatever. So it was like maybe like 10 of her girlfriends. So we all showed up to the house, She had like a little spread. It was game night. So we were gonna play game night. Mind you, I've known the lady for 3 years. I've been decorating the house for Christmas for 3 years. I never had any other interaction with her besides me decorating her house. That was it the whole year long. So last year, it's kind of strange. She invited me to an event. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go. Then she invited me to the game night with her girlfriends. And at first, I wasn't going to go because it was a Sunday night. I knew I had to go to work the next morning. And you know how we kind of be skeptical about, mixing with new friends and not feeling comfortable. And, I don't know what's going on in my life. Don't worry about it. Not feeling comfortable in new circles, right? So I was like, well, in order to get something different. You know, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So I said, let me go ahead and step out my box. I'm going to go to this game night party at our house on a Sunday night at 6 o'clock. I'm just going to go for a couple of hours and, come on back home. So I got to our house. It was like I said, it was probably about 10 of us. I think I can't remember how many it was. It was about 10 of us there. And some of us went to one room while the other ladies were prepping the food or whatever. So we all kind of introduced our own selves to each other, whatever. And we sat down. And I was talking to one of the young ladies. I think she was from Baltimore. Now, mind you, I seen the young ladies at an event that we were just at that day before, but I didn't talk to any of them. I just, spoke and going on about my business. So while we're at the house, one of the young ladies, she asked me something. I can't even remember what she asked me. I got to go back to my journal and find it because I wrote it down. And I started telling her about my journey. And in my mind, I was like, why am I telling this lady my business? I don't know her. She don't know me. Why am I telling her my business? So I was telling her about a dream that I had prior to it, that year before. So that was 2023. I had this dream, right? I was telling her about my dream. And then I told her the dream was so real. It was everything was confirmed. Like it just was mind blowing. And I said, but you know what happened? At the end, God told me, I didn't tell you what year it was going to happen. That blew my mind. Because first of all, Lord, you got me telling her my business. I don't even know this lady. And then she probably going to be sitting here looking at me crazy. However, I went on and told her because like I tell y'all, when I say telling y'all my business, it ain't really my business, it's God's business. So as I told the young lady, about my journey, going through the process of, I felt like I was prepared to be married, but I was prepared by the world standards, meaning, I had my own house, I had businesses, I did all this stuff that, the world tells you to have before you get married. But I wasn't prepared kingdom wise, meaning, extending grace, the fruits of the spirit and all that stuff. So I feel like God had been taking me on a journey, which is what I told y'all about the last couple of years. So I was telling her about that. And as I was telling her that, another lady walked in the room and she sat down on the couch. She wasn't even in their room 2 minutes. And they said, y'all come on, eat. The other lady walked up to me. She said, do you mind if I tell you something? And I looked. I was like, okay. So she was like, God told me that I was going to get a house in November. And she said, people kept prophesying, telling me that I was going to get a house and this, that, and the other. She said, I even dreamed the house, shared the house. She was like, I was like, oh, okay, because I wasn't looking for no house. I didn't even really think about it. The lady told me, now this was in December of last year, right? So when she got through talking, she said, I'm here to tell you that God said I didn't tell you what year. She said, but this year, which was last year, November, I don't remember what day she said, I closed on that house that God told me. I was like, what? She said, so I want to encourage you. God told me to come over here and tell you. She said, and I didn't want to come over here and tell you because I'm like, God, you want me to go over here and tell her what? Like, I literally just met this lady. I did. I mean, I had literally just met the lady. She had just walked in the room. I didn't even know her name. And she said, God told her to come over here and tell me that. God told her the same thing, but he told her, I didn't tell you what year. But that year, which was last year, she closed on that house that God told her. So she said, keep going through your process. Keep going through your journey because God is going to use it to bless other people for your process. And it's going to be for the kingdom. And kingdom doesn't always mean in the church. It means for the people that you are going to come across. She said, and I didn't even want to come over here and tell you because I'm like, Lord, I don't even know this lady. When I say that blew my mind, y'all, I mean, it blew my mind because here I was talking to this other lady, telling her my business, and I didn't even know her. And then God sends somebody else to confirm to me about what I told her that happened to her. That's just like God, okay? And to even top it all off, y'all, before I got ready to leave that night, I was telling the young lady, now we've been at the house hours now. We all cool now. We all kick in and everything. And I said, I was trying to remember what you told me so I can write it down when I get home. She said, oh, that's all right. God told me to go ahead and tell you in full because you're hungry to know that what he's saying. And I was like, what? She said, God says, go through the process because it is preparation for what he has for you. She said that you are a dreamer, and I am. And God deals with you and talks to you through dreams and vision, and he does. But that lady didn't know that. She said, he says, keep an open mind because it's not going to happen the way you think it's going to happen. The lady even told me that you're always asking why I always have to be the one to reach out to people or to be the one who is always, open up and, being the first moves and everything like that. I had just had that conversation with one of my girlfriends at around 12 noon that day, okay? So, God knows what he's doing, right? I don't know about y'all, but God is somebody. So I just have to tell y'all some of my business, like I always got to tell you. That when it says share your journey, pray for friends that will be there for you. Pray for friends that you can be vulnerable with. Share your journey, the joys, the ups and the downs, but you got to be very discerning in those people, right? So now we're on a whole nother level of praying for who God sends for us so we can prepare ourselves even the more through those relationships. And that just showed me a whole nother level of God, that God was that mindful of me, that he wanted to send somebody to speak a word to me after I done spoke to somebody else. Let me know it's okay. So just remember from this day forward, moving on, how can two people walk together unless they agree? And it's not just marriage, that is friendships. If we don't agree and we ain't moving towards some good things, some God things, then we don't need to be together, okay? And it's okay. It's okay. You got to be equally yoked with your friends as well as your purpose partner, your spouse, right? Picking your spouse that God sends. Remember, because we ain't gonna go and find them on our own. God gonna send them to us, right? But the second most important decision you will ever make in your life is the person that you go into covenant with. Second most important one. The first one is choosing God. Choosing God is always first, but the second one is your covenant spouse. So remember that. And continue to build friends that'll help you push you when you need to push and to help you and to be there for you to wait well. Because it's in how we wait that how God gives us our blessing, okay? So wait well. Be not weary in your well doing because your due season is coming. Hi to the people that popped in for me. Hi, Angela. Hey, Kim. Thank you, friend. That's all I got for y'all tonight. Pray for faith-filled friendships. Let me tell y'all something about my friend Kim, if she's still on here. I met Kim through my friend Marilyn. And I talk to Kim through Messenger just about every day. And Kim, you have been such a motivation to me through our Messenger. You don't even know how God uses you to send me certain things at certain times. So I just had to say that since you weren't here. I thank you that you were God sent. And I ain't even have to pray for you. The Lord just sent you on anyway, right? So, because we are walking this journey together, we are waiting well together, we are preparing together. So, thank you, Kim, for being my purpose partner alignment. We are getting it together, okay? So, that's all I got for y'all tonight. Hope you have enjoyed this message. Send this message to a friend that is waiting on their spouse or that needs to wait well or just needs some encouragement to know that God hears you and he will use people to give you a word and to push you on through, right? That's all I got for y'all. So until the next meeting, that's all I got for y'all. Have a good night and go back and watch the videos, okay? That's all I got for you.